All right, I'm going to try this tuna melt. Oh, it's warm.
Yeah, tell us about what you're about to
All right, I have
partake in
a
today.
tuna melt here on rye with pepper jack cheese. I'm a spicy girl.
Is the tuna hot?
It's hot.
The tuna is hot. The cheese,
No.
as I've learned, is always melted, but the tuna can be hot or cold.
Tuna's cold. Confirmed. All right. Feel like I have tuna on the corner of my mouth here.
Are you going to eat that whole sandwich, you think?
I don't think so.
No.
I think I have lunch for tomorrow.
Okay.
Welcome to NYC Now. I'm Janae Pierre. Tuna melts, New York City culture at the Super Bowl, and how you can curl like an Olympian right here in Prospect Park. That and more on this edition of the Arts and Culture Check-In. But first, here's your news headlines. Mayor Mamdani says New York City will be reviewing regulations of the tow truck industry following an investigation by WNYC. The reporting found hundreds of unlicensed tow trucks have flooded city streets in the last 5 years, as the NYPD has backed off of enforcement. Here's the mayor speaking at City Hall this week.
First and foremost, thank you for highlighting this issue. And clearly, it's not something that is working to the best of its ability. It's something that we will follow up on.
WNYC's analysis found there are nearly as many unlicensed tow trucks on the roads as licensed ones. Many of the unlicensed trucks race to crash scenes, which can put pedestrians and other drivers at risk. The NYPD says it was forced to pull back on seizing unlicensed tow trucks in response to city council legislation passed in 2021. Want to hear more about our investigation into the city's tow truck industry? Check out the previous episode of NYC Now. Mayor Mamdani still wants to raise income taxes on the city's wealthy residents, even though he says he's facing a smaller fiscal hole than expected. Mamdani appeared in Albany this week for the annual 10-Cup Day budget hearing. That's where local officials from across New York asked state legislators for various forms of fiscal relief. Mamdani said his team has updated its estimates and now projects a $7 billion deficit in the coming fiscal year. That's down from $12 billion he projected last month. The mayor said taxes on better than expected Wall Street bonuses and a more concerted effort at savings helped trim the deficit. But with the large gap still looming, Mamdani said raising taxes would help address the imbalance. The mayor is continuing to push for higher taxes despite resistance from Governor Kathy Hochul. A pride flag is flying high once again at the Stonewall National Monument, despite its removal under the guidance of the Trump administration this week. Hundreds showed up to the monument after the National Park Service removed the flag and replaced it with a U.S. flag. Mark Riccardi was among the people there. He's a drag queen who performs at multiple venues across the city as Zeta Jones.
We're not a community that makes others ask who they are, what they are, why they are, but we are a community that just says, we're fierce and just let us be here because you're here too. We're all here together.
The Stonewall Monument is adjacent to the Stonewall Inn, a gay bar that was the scene of the uprising that birthed the modern queer liberation movement. The federal government says the National Park Service can now only fly the American flag, Palmia flag, and Department of Interior flags at sites that the agency maintains. Still ahead, what's new in New York City arts and culture? That's after the break. Welcome to another edition of our Arts and Culture Check-In, a look at what's been coming across the Arts and Culture desk here at WNYC and our news site Gothamist. And here to walk us through it, my good colleague, Matthew Schnipper. He's the newsroom's arts and culture editor. What's up, Matt?
I'm my new title is Tuna editor, I think, basically.
That's been a really big story that's been blowing up on the website and inside our building. It's hot. Tell me about this story.
Yeah, I think we are absolute tuna trendsetters.
Okay.
No, the food writer Joshua David Stein got in touch with me and basically said, hey, I want to write about tuna melts. And I said, well, what do you want to say about them? He's like, I love them. They're the greatest sandwich of all time. And he thought he had seen from his eating around the city that different restaurants had been innovating on the form. This was in some ways an extraordinarily basic story,
that we all love.
Sandwiches.
Yeah.
What's up with them? But I think I don't want to be too meta. We get a lot of pitches about a lot of different types of things. Often they are about something extremely unique, something a little bit maybe kind of wonky, something kind of convoluted, a little weird, something somebody is like deeply passionate about that a lot of people don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's possible in my, brief tenure at Gothamist, the tuna melt is the most mundane and popular subject that we have run a story on.
But people love that counter programming, There's a lot going on in the world.
That's what was kind of funny is I feel like what we do is already counter programming. This was almost counter programming.
Yeah.
I think there was a nice mix of cheekiness and earnestness in his pitch, and I think it came out in the story. So he does believe in this, and I think sometimes it's nice just to hear somebody celebrate something that is easy to take for granted. I think if you want to be a little bit doe-eyed about it, what I liked about this story was it just was sort of an appreciation for, what's in front of you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what came through to people. You could be a glass half full about things if you want to be.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of nice.
Yeah, certainly. Speaking of tuna melts, Matt, were tuna melts at your Super Bowl party this past Sunday?
I did have queso. My Texan next door neighbors brought out one of those old school dishes that has the flame underneath it.
So no tuna melts?
No, I didn't. I don't think I had tuna. Sorry, I'm just going to go on about the queso for a while. It was quite good.
Okay.
I was posted up just eating queso.
Yeah.
So I did have that.
Yeah,
no, there was no tuna. There was pizza. Also a melted cheese. So there was melted cheese, but there was no tuna fish.
Okay.
Basically.
At the end of the day, it was the Bad Bunny Bowl. And we had a couple...
It was not the tuna bowl.
We had a couple of New York City connections, right? You want to talk about that?
So, I think the one that's been making the rounds is Tonita.
Yeah.
So, at one point during his sort of extravagant, really just about kind of a neighborhoody Super Bowl set, Bad Bunny goes and orders a drink. If you don't know anything about the woman he gets the drink from behind the bar, that's fine. But New Yorkers know her as Tonita, who is the proprietor of Tonitas, a social club in Williamsburg.
Yeah.
And we've actually written about her on Gothamist. You can go and check out a story about the history of the social club. But what was really nice about this is that, he said, I'm going to bring her specifically out. He could have had anyone.
But that's a place where he hangs out. Like when he's in the city, he's hanging out at Tonita's.
We have heard that he is hanging out there. I mean, I would say you should not probably rush there hoping to get a glimpse of Bad Bunny, but he name drops the bar, the club in his song Nueva York. So it was cool for him to bring that to life.
You have to say it like, Nueva York!
I don't think anybody wants to hear me say it
We
like
heard
that.
you singing before. We know you have it in you.
Okay, well, listen, when I learn Spanish, I'll come back and sing Bad Bunny. For now, it's just going to be, I'm only singing Addison Rae. That's it.
Okay, we had some other New York City connections during the Super Bowl.
We did. And I love this one. So Bad Bunny brought out Lady Gaga. You may have seen her wearing a kind of sky blue, maybe baby blue dress and dancing with him. That dress was designed by Raul Lopez, whose line Luar is Raul backwards. He's a born and bred New Yorker. He grew up in Williamsburg. He's Dominican. He was a part early on of Hood by Air, which was a huge fashion label. And now he has his own thing, Luar, which has, done incredibly well. And it's really cool to see how far he has come. What was great about him designing this dress, he did not know what this dress was for.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga's stylist wrote to him and said, hey, we need a dress. He said, this was before the Grammys. He said, for the Grammys, they're like, no, for something bigger. He didn't know. He didn't know she was going to be there. He didn't know that she was going to be wearing his dress. So he was at a Super Bowl party, maybe having a tuna melt. I don't think, no, I don't think so. He actually said there was caviar at his Super Bowl party.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, no, this was a different kind of Super Bowl party. But he said, all of a sudden he's watching it, and Lady Gaga comes out, and she's wearing the dress he designed for her.
Oh, my God. What a surprise.
So, he said he started screaming, so then everybody else was at the party also started screaming, but they didn't know why he was screaming. So then he had to explain to him, oh, my God, that's the dress I designed.
Senora Gaga in his dress. Wow.
Yeah, I thought that was such a nice moment.
So cool. Also got to mention Cardi B was
That's true, yes.
at the Super Bowl as well.
Just kind of, she was there on stage, just
chilling.
chilling. Yeah.
Just chilling.
I love that she was just there. It was kind of nice. She didn't have to work. It was nice. She should get to enjoy herself.
Mayor Zohran Mamdani, every time we talk, we get an update on his cultural references. So have you added anything to your Excel sheet?
I did. I was watching an interview with Zohran on ABC. He talked to Jonathan Karl, and he was talking about, the city has a rather large budget deficit. It seems that his predecessor, Mayor Adams, somehow has disappeared quite a bit of money, and Zohran had no interest in sort of taking ownership of this deficit issue. And he said, we have, it's as easy as ABC, as the Jackson 5 said, it's an Adams budget crisis.
How are you going to deal with that?
Well, I think it's, frankly, in the words of the Jackson 5, it's as easy as ABC. This is an Adams budget crisis.
So
ABC.
So I think setting aside the factuality of the budget crisis itself, I was very interested that he opted to reference the Jackson 5. Mamdani is a 90s baby. He didn't grow up with the Thriller years or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But he's not naive to kind of where Michael Jackson ended up, where his reputation ended up. I thought this was a dicey choice, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, so Matt, there's another story that has come off of your desk this week. Brooklyn Lakeside Curling Club. What is curling?
For those who do not wait for the Winter Olympics every 4 years so that you can watch some dudes throw stones on the ice, curling is a sport that I kind of have said is almost kind of like ice bocce. It's got a shuffleboard kind of vibe. There are large polished stones with handles, and you shoot them down the ice while other people on your team brush the ice quickly and I would say fiendishly, fervishly, one of those with fire. I don't know. They brush the ice real hard so that your stone will go the furthest distance that it needs to go. And we had one of our writers go try it.
Okay, so you can try this at Prospect Park.
You can try this at Prospect Park, yes. There is the Brooklyn Lakeside Curling Club, which includes some real pro curlers.
Like Olympians?
There is the coach for the Philippines team, does coach out of there, and you can go and learn how to curl. You can try it yourself.
Is this something that you've tried before?
I have not curled, but I'll be honest with you, I was jealous. The photos from this also... I mean, first off, people were wearing some fantastic outfits. It seems like curlers bring out the real kind of Jimmy Buffett parrot head kind of people.
Okay.
People into neon and gold and just going for it, but it just looked kind of delightful. I feel like I'm going to say something that's going to make somebody who's really into curling very mad by saying that it's, a silly thing to take seriously.
Hot take.
But I mean, look, like, you've played shuffleboard, right, Janae?
Yeah.
You played bocce before?
No.
Well, whatever. You throw a thing and you try to get a target. You played skee ball?
Yeah. Okay, so I can curl.
Yeah, exactly. What if you did it except you were on ice and then a bunch of your friends also had brooms,
Okay, well, let's start a group, Hot Girls Curl.
Girls Curl. I mean, when I'm saying that, it sounds kind of like you're like, I had the weirdest dream last night. I was throwing a stone on the ice and all my friends were there with brooms,
And then I got a gold medal.
Exactly. Imagine that, I think that, to me, there's something sort of very lovable about this sport.
Yeah. Speaking of love, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Last week, we spoke to one of your reporters, Hannah Frischberg, and we put out a call to listeners to tell us about their experience as far as finding love in New York City. We got this voice note from Bria Paley. I want to play it for you. Can I?
Oh, please.
My dating experience in New York City has not been great. I'm Jewish, and I really prefer to date Jewish men. I go to events, I've been on the apps, and it has not been smooth sailing. I'm now in my early 40s, and I'm like, what is going on here? I thought it would be easier. Seems like people aren't looking for meaningful connections, or if you swipe right on them, they don't write you back. If they do write you back, they don't ask you out. It just feels like pulling teeth. It's not ideal. So I decided to spend the winter in Australia to see if it would be better here. But it's not. But I'm still hopeful because what else are you going to do? Bye.
I'm sorry, Bria. Man, that sucks.
It sucks.
Good luck finding community out in Australia.
You know, I am a Jewish man in his 40s. I am not single. I've not been single, I've been married for quite a while. But I do remember that experience of being single, of being Jewish. I did not say I am only dating Jewish women. I did actually get married to a purebred Italian who grew up going to church. But, my heart goes out to her.
Yeah.
It is hard. And there is that feeling, sometimes in New York City of being alone in a crowd, And I think phone apps can make you feel both connected directly to everybody, but also, like an anonymous person and almost not like a person as well. It's hard. I think it sounds like Bria is putting herself out there, which, full respect to that.
Definitely.
But I do believe it will happen for her and for other people who want it to.
That's right. That's right. And, Bria, and for everyone else who's single out there are places that you can go to celebrate yourself this Valentine's Day. So be sure to do that. And Matt, I know that we have a list of things that people can get into on our new site, Gothamist.
We do, yes.
Tell us.
If I was single, what I would be going to is Questlove and the Roots have an event at Brooklyn Bowl, and it's a slow jams party. I think that's going to be really fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think it'll be like there'll be people there both celebrating and looking for love, I would imagine.
You have any Valentine's Day plans for the special ladies in your life?
There are a lot of special ladies in my life. My daughter, my wife, and my mother.
Cute.
I'll be hanging with all three generations.
Nice.
So we'll have a nice Saturday.
Well,
how about yourself?
I will actually be in New Orleans. I will be there. It's parade season. Mardi Gras is coming up, so no red, no hearts. But in my relationship, Valentine's Day is every day.
Love takes all colors,
Love, too. Love. Matthew Schnipper is the editor on our Arts and Culture desk. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Janae.
And thank you for listening to NYC Now. If you want your comment featured like Bria's, send us a voice note letting us know what's up in your New York at nycnow@wnyc.org. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm sending you so much love. I'm Janae Pierre. See you next time.